Hey, Alpha fam, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission. Today on Alpha Commission, of course, we're going to go over the continued pump on the Bitcoin chart as well as the altcoins in general. As you can see, green across the board, not only in crypto, but also in stocks, recovering a bit of that downtrend that we were having for a few days earlier this week. If we do just quickly jump over to the charts, of course, I did explain in a full detail in my previous episode called the Bull Pump Update in just excruciating detail about what's going on, right? And how institutions are suddenly announcing how they're adopting and using, crypto, which does kind of create a bullish floor to the market as we've also built up this kind of rounded bottom structure. And in the meantime, we also have serious macro risk, right? Including the Federal Reserve, which some people think is a little bit overplayed right now. And it does have very confusing, tie-ins with the recession that is expected to take place next year, the deep recession that is. And of course, all of this just creates confusion with the dollar and the reverse currency war. And so, if you would like to check out my episode, which was the Macro Monday, called the Kiss of Death. If you search my videos for the Kiss of Death, you'll see what type of macro risk that we do have on the stock market, which of course would drag crypto down with it if that very serious situation did happen. However, for today, everything's all good, and in fact, Bitcoin is looking quite bullish. A lot of people thought this thing was just going to dump to heck down here, but I was saying no, we have a pretty strong support level. And as long as we didn't breach any candles below my momentum box there, then most likely the trajectory was just to continue to the upside, as we do have a series of higher highs and higher lows now. This is a bull trend, on the 4 hour and the daily. Guys, let's go ahead and just take a look at some of our structure that we do have going on here. If I can find my, let's see here, if I can find my support and resistance, you can see if we zoom in that we did just capture a level, the top of a level, in fact, and you can see us sitting very nice and pretty right here. In fact, we're busting through kind of what I consider to be a mid-level, just this little white dashed line right here. We just popped through this. This just happened in the last few minutes. We have about one, two more of those to go before I would suggest that we're running into some heavy resistance where we could easily get throttled back down should we start bumping our head into this area. But I think, this is a reasonable place to start, to grind out and just continue to the upside. So I'm not bearish right now. I know a lot of people want to short the market, but I recommend not shorting in an uptrend. You can short in a downtrend, but when you're in an uptrend, it's better not to short. I mean, just from a risk to reward ratio, it's better to take your longs and to take your profit rather than just gamble against the market, right? You don't have to fight the market. The trend is your friend until it ends, right? And so, guys, we also did have a little bit of a wedge right here that I was pointing out the other day that did look like a kind of a flag to me, a bullish flag, and this thing did just pop up. What would be the measured move of that flag? Well, we can easily, take a generous sampling like this and just pull it up there, and you can see that it would be, in fact, that red box that I have pointed out. So can we squeeze a bit more out of this play? I think so, and we might just grind it out kind of like this. It might look something like this, but in this area, and then we'll have to see if this thing actually can push through or not. But it would be quite overextended for the measured move if we're just going by a patterns perspective right here, and that would have a good confluence with my support and resistance, just in the way that this price action has behaved. Kind of topped out here, topped out here, topped out here, right? A little bit of a stretch here. And so again, guys, like this area around 21 900 to 22,500, that's a good place for a check back before we get some type of maybe major pullback, that tends to happen on charts in order to reset, in order to get that energy for the next push up, sort of like we did back in June. We had to have a series of very severe pullbacks in order to get where we finally got to. I mean, it is possible that we just have some type of short squeeze straight up, but you don't want to count on that. Obviously, we did things like this before. People are getting a little bit ahead of themselves, both on the upside and the downside. I mean, if we look at this candle and this candle, it's pretty much just what this candle was. Right, so we've done this before. We're not strangers to this type of price action. This was much more impressive. This was much more impressive. All of these moves were much more impressive than what we're seeing right now. But people are getting super excited. Why? Because we have this series of higher highs and higher lows, exactly what we had over here when we had a legitimate bull run where a Bitcoin increased in price by 40%. Okay, so that was pretty cool for Bitcoin. All right, so yes, people are have a right to be happy, at least the bulls. Guys, let's go ahead and just throw on some of these. Let's see, what do I have here? My momentum pools. All right, let me just pull this back down. Not sure why it's just popping up everywhere. And we can see, what my momentum pools have been doing for the past couple weeks since we've been using them. We really used this momentum pool starting back here where I was measuring basically four different types of momentum over five different time periods. And what you can see is just, again, like I create these pools before the price action is put in. And what you can see is we captured the top of that pool. We just skyrocketed. We captured the top of this pool. We skyrocketed, right? We lost the top of my momentum pool. And so we just went a dip into the pool. We went for a nice swim. The next day came up. We were still swimming, but we did manage to close a pretty bullish candle on top of it. And so we popped up. We held the top of the next one. And then I think I took a day off there, but my 2 to 5 day projection suggested that we could come all the way as low as here. We actually did end up coming as low as my 2 to 5 day projection, and then we just kept swimming around. A bearish candle actually was on top of this one, so it just kept us sideways. This was just the whipsaw action by Jerome Powell, continued to go sideways. Nothing really impressive happening, just the momentum pools predicting where price action could easily flow through, right? And then we got on top of this one with a quite bullish candle. We did a bullish check back and boom, guys. And then look at what we're doing today. Okay, today's momentum pool, we are sitting on top of the momentum pool with a bullish candle. So that does suggest, in my mind, continuation. Okay, like maybe some check back or something, or we could just obliterate, and go forward. But guys, this does look very good here. And so these momentum pools, these alpha momentum pools that I'm developing as my core strategy for this show, this is just killing it. And we are actually doing a great job, Alpha Fam. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for supporting this channel. And of course, I always do a 2 to 5 day projection along with my daily momentum pool. And then I delete it, the next time I update the daily. But that 2 to 5 day projection kind of gives you an idea of where price could, swim around through for the next 2 to 5 days without severely breaking any type of momentum structure. And so even if this thing did just like come back into this pool, as long as in the next 2 to 5 days we got above this level, you can see that this is still a very bullish area. However, if we did break down under the daily pool or we broke down under the 2 to 5 day pool, even if I wasn't making a new episode, even if I was in the hospital or something like that, you guys would know that if it broke under this 2 to 5 day projection, then that would be a pretty bearish thing because we will have lost our momentum and most likely we're going to continue to head to the downside. And so, because we did have quite a big push in the last day or so, you can see that momentum pools get stretched out whenever the price action gets stretched out, and then when we have a consolidation, it kind of tightens up a little bit, right? So this was an expansion, this was a consolidation, and you can see the momentum pool tightened up. And so, most likely this is a little bit exaggerated, and it'll probably tighten up into a nicer area over the next couple days. And so let's go ahead and just throw some of these EMAs on the chart here, just so that we can see what we look like from an EMA perspective. Let me close down the momentum pools. And let's take off support and resistance. You can see that we are incredibly bullish above the 4 EMA on the 4 hour, well above the 9 and the 21. So this is just incredibly bullish, guys. If we jump over to the daily, you can see we're above the 4 and the 9. This is just incredibly bullish, guys. If we go over to the weekly, this is something that is very, very important. We do have a solid candle above, above the 9 and the 21 SMA over here, the simple moving average, and so that's quite bullish. That means that we do have a weekly squeeze play going on from a simple moving average perspective, and from an exponential moving average, which is in this case it's a little bit more conservative. We'll need to get all the way to that 22,600 in order to verify that. And then this could look like something like this. We could grind that out and then do a bigger move potentially later on. So, guys, this is all looking very interesting, very juicy. If we do go back to the daily on the EMAs, I would like to point out that we do have this naked candle over here. And so, if we do just check back, it wouldn't be, any skin off our back to just check back, kind of retest this price action, and also retest this wedge that we broke out of. And, actually, I think a lot of people would like that because they could get a second chance to get in if they missed this move. But overall, the momentum is forward and onward, and so I just don't think that they're likely to get that without us first reaching our goals. Now, on the 4 hour, it does suggest that perhaps we could come down to a 20,600 without losing too much on the kind of intraday trading. So with that said, let's go ahead and flip over to some momentum and, pardon me, volatility. And you can see that volatility on the 4 hour is starting to pinch shut. We are getting towards that 100% area of the volatility chart here on the 4 hour. And so when this shuts down, probably we're going to go into a little bit of a consolidation, sort of like what we had earlier here, and I'll show you what that looked like, right? So we had this kind of consolidation area here. We had a nice push, and then we had a consolidation area, and then we continued to push up, right? So, guys, like, if we get into a bit of a consolidation on our volatility, then that could indicate just, it's time to check back. So I will keep you updated tomorrow on the volatility to see if we do end up just pinching shut there. However, let's go ahead and go to the daily chart, and what we can see on the daily chart is that our contraction here in volatility is actually pinching shut. So it's a weird thing where, the daily is contracting, and I want to see if this one goes into expansion mode again. If our volatility expands while our price action is going up, then that's going to be very bullish. But if this thing is contracting while Bitcoin is pushing up, then that means that our volatility could easily expand to the downside quite heavily. So I would just to be aware that the daily could have some type of dirty trick in store for us, okay? Like the daily, whatever, whenever we pinch off in this move that's pushing us up, this volatility that's just expanding us to the upside, whenever we pinch that off on the 4 hour, the daily might take over and just rapidly or just heavily expand us to the downside. Okay, so in this case, volatility is expanding, but price action might get pushed to the downside. Now that's just a hypothesis because that's the natural way that these things tend to flow. But because volatility is direction neutral, there is the possibility of a volatility flip. And if that volatility flip happens, then the daily could just join in suddenly with a violent explosion to the upside. So we do have to wait and see. But I am just warning you guys that that 4 hour push is starting to come to a close. We probably have another half day to get to squeeze out of it, and then maybe the daily for the next day has some kind of dirty trick in store for us. Okay, but then we look at the 2 day. And the 2 day is a much larger time scale, and it's just expanding freely as we're rising in price. And so the 2 day is saying that, whatever dirty trick that the daily might play on you, so far I've got your back. Okay, so the 2 day is saying, like, I've got you covered. 4 hour, you took the charge to push us up. The daily may want to do a dirty trick and just like, smash us down or do something weird or unexpected. But the 2 day, like, it's still got our back. Like, it's going to try to keep pushing us forward. And unless the daily bleeds into the 2 day still, I think, is the stronger player here. And if I look at the 3 day, 3 day is also joining in on the 2 day. The 4 day is joining in on the 2 day. The 5 day is actually more in line with the 1 day here. But I think that this could be a totally different epoch because the 5 day could play out over a week or two. Okay, so we have a lot of time before that one. But my point is that some type of shenanigans could happen pretty soon. Okay, and since it is the weekend, like that would be the perfect time for shenanigans. So let's find out. Anyway, moving on from volatility, we can see that, let's see, we covered price action, we covered the momentum pools, we covered EMAs, we covered volatility. Oh, good. I think we need to just do the signals and then wrap it up for this episode. Let's go ahead and throw on my new alpha momentum signals over here. And what you can see is that some things have pretty significantly changed. So these were the projections last time, right? And so we did have a pretty big update, all right? So what was the projection last time? We get over this level of 20,400. Let's drop down to the 4 hours so we can see more detail. And in fact, let's go to the 1 hour so that we can see it in its full glory here, right? Turn off these EMAs. And what you can see is actually these projections, these are the old projections, okay? Look at this. Look at this. We popped up out of that wedge exactly like what I was saying, right? We closed the candle right at my bullish level that was projected in advance. We meandered our way up to the uber bullish level. We closed this little indecision candle right on it. And then having captured it, boom, like we just skyrocketed. And what did we come back to? Perfectly came back to the uber bullish level that I set out for us. And then it's just been gravy from there. We even look like we're putting in a little bull flag here. Don't you see that? Guys, like, I can't say anything but, boom, like we did it, right? Like, great job, Alpha Fam. Like, if you took these trades, if you took these signals, I mean, it just had massive payoff. And yes, we did actually end up wicking in back here. So you did have a second chance to get in if you missed this candle or this candle. You had a second chance to get in here. And in fact, this one also pulled back. So you had a third chance also. And so, guys, I hope that you are enjoying these signals. I hope that you're making money. A couple guys are saying that they're making a lot of money off of my signals. And so I'm glad to hear that I am adding some value to the community. I think that I present this stuff a lot more clearly than a lot of people do, okay, on a lot of these different channels, especially the ones that are just kind of shilling Bybit and shilling, like, stupid coins and all that stuff. Okay, guys. Let's see here. Now let's do the update, because with this dramatic push from these signals over here, which has just been amazing. Again, we're on the 1 hour. That's why there's so many candles. Then let's go ahead and just move to the 4 hour just to simplify it a bit. And then let's go to my updated signals. And so this is what we have new on here. Okay. I think I'll throw on the momentum pools just to give some context there. And you can see, because of this push, we do have a lot of room to pull back. Okay, so whenever we have a nice push, it always gives us a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, and also, we're biased to the upside, right? So most of this is going to be bullish because we're in a bull trend. That means that we really have to violate the bottom of these momentum pools in order to lose our momentum. Whereas when we're in a downtrend, right, if we're in a downtrend, we really have to capture the top. The top is really significant. But when we're in an uptrend, the bottom is what's really significant. So, if we're in an uptrend, we can just swim around here, no problem, get back on top, cool. Like we just took a dip in the pool, okay? And similarly, if we're in a downtrend, we can swim around in the pool, no problem. But if we get on top of it, then most likely we're going to change our direction, okay? So we get below this pool here, and most likely we're going to change our direction permanently, right? So guys, like that's how these momentum pools work. And what you can see is that, we have been pushing up just while I've been making this video. And we're already capturing my bullish bias threshold here. And so if we do come back and just kind of sit on top of there, or if we just continue to push, I do consider that to be bullish. Now, the uber bullish level is upgraded to 22,805, and I did explain that for reasons, that are mostly structural, but also related to the EMAs up here. Again, like the uber bullish and the uber bearish are a little bit of a judgment calls. In this case, we will lose all of our momentum on the daily to the downside down here. We're going to lose most of our momentum, to the upside. We're going to lose that if we cross 20,254. And so just taking it from the top to the bottom in case it's hard to read on your screen, uber bullish above 22,805, bullish above 20, pardon me, yep, our price action's above it, so this thing's blocking it. The bullish bias is 21,355. You have to look for the same color blue. The light blue one here, the bullish-ish, but watch out, is 21,145. The reason you got to watch out is because we could go for a swim in the momentum pool. And then the bearish-ish, but watch out, is 20,625. Of course, you could front run some bearishness at this level, but it's just we could always get back into the momentum pool, kind of swim around, right, on that 2 to 5 day projection. And then really, I have a bearish bias at 20,254. And then, oh no, anyway, we're going to lose the majority of our momentum at 19,615, where we're probably going to play the bottom of the range. So, guys, there you have it. That was your alpha for the day. I hope that you've been enjoying these episodes. I hope that it's been helping you make money. Thank you again for supporting this channel. That was your alpha for the day. Stay safe and happy trading.